trying to be straight with you, that's all.
Be nice to me instead.
Jesus Christ.
I don't understand. Are you trying to say you don't love me anymore?
I never told you that I loved you.
Well, not in words, maybe, but there are lots of ways of saying things that have nothing to do with words.
You read it that way.
It's that other bitch, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
Play Misty for me.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another exciting episode, that is, of Citizen Frame. We're doing a small retrospective here, back-to-back erotic thrillers. We decided that because the success of The Housemaid, we may also, do a couple, the reason The Housemaid got made, ha 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 ha. Okay.
Right?
Well, thanks for that delayed reply there.
I was letting it sink in.
We want to do a couple of the originators. And what better way than to talk about our boy, Clint Eastwood. And we talked about him with Pale Rider not too long ago at Western Month. And what Clint has done for American cinema. Like Spielberg, of course. Spielberg will be up there. And of course, you've got Frank Capra, and you've got, David Lean's English, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he still did Hollywood stuff. Yeah.
Orson Welles. And you have great filmmakers out there, of course. But I'm going to hold all my cards out here. Clint Eastwood is the greatest American director of all time. The man, everybody works for him for scale. He'll get the biggest A-list cast you can, and they get paid pittance. He keeps budgets so low, and yet his movie's still profitable, and he's just a legend in the game.
It would be Tommy Wiseau for me, but,
Oh, yeah. I mean, his directing record is something. High Plains Drifter, Eager Sanction, Outlaw of Josie Wales, The Gauntlet, Firefox, Sudden Impact, Pale Rider, Heartbreak Ridge, The Rookie, Unforgiven, A Perfect World, Bridges of Madison County, Absolute Power, True Crime, Space Cowboys, Bloodwork, Mystic River, $1 Million Baby, Flags of Our Fathers, The Changeling, Gran Torino, J. Edgar, Jersey Boys, American Sniper, The Mule, Richard Jewell, and the latest Jury Number 2. And Jury Number 2 he filmed when he was 93 years old.
Yeah. No, I mean, Clint for me, while he has an absolutely stellar sort of directorial record, I've always, just in my head, Clint has always been more of a sort of screen icon in terms of acting. The Dollars trilogy and all that, Unforgiven, obviously, which is an absolute classic. He directed as well. But yeah, I mean, Clint is a legend. I mean, I don't think anyone can dispute that.
Yeah, I mean, you said yourself, he's done both.
Yes.
He's an A in his game on both. Never got the award for an Oscar for his acting. He was nominated for Unforgiven, but he didn't get it, and he didn't get it. He should have got it for Gran Torino. But he's got 4 Oscars under his belt. He got Best Director for Unforgiven. He got Best Director for $1 Million Baby. He got Best Picture for Unforgiven, and he got Best Picture for $1 Million Baby. So that's where he got all his Oscars. And again, he should have got it for Mystic River as well. But, you're not going to win them all. But he's got 4 Oscars under his belt. Plus he's got a lifetime Oscar under his belt. So, good on him. Clint's the man. Clint Eastwood, true story. Clint Eastwood was in the U.S. Army.
Yes.
And at the time, Korea was coming into play.
The Korean War, yeah.
And he was going. And he was flying on a torpedo bomber it's called a Sky Raider. And he was going from Seattle to his head base in California. I think Fort something, can't remember what it was, Fort Ord or something like that.
Okay.
But the plane malfunctioned and it crashed into the ocean. And Clint had to hold the door. The door was flying open. And as the plane was malfunctioning, he held the door open so it wouldn't fly open.
Yeah. So like a real life sort of hero type. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had to ditch the plane as it crashed into the water. And they had him and the pilot, they had to ditch the aircraft, and they were off the coast in the Pacific Ocean. And they had to swim 3 miles to safety in shark-infested waters.
That's the sort of thing I would do. Back when I was in the Army Cadets in school. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah.
Here, by the way, do you know what one of Clint's first films was? Tarantula,
Oh yeah,
1950s monster movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, see, we talked about that with Steve McQueen in The Blob,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, and boy Jack Nicholson as well. We all start there
Oh yeah.
in B. Corman-esque horror.
Aye, 50s sort of monster movies. Yeah. Bug-eyed monsters
All
and all
right,
that sort of thing. Giant insects.
I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee here. So, play Misty for me. This is his directorial debut. He got the bug. We did some a little bit of co-directing when he was doing Dirty Harry with his boy, one of his mentors, Don Siegel. Kind of got into like behind the camera action.
He's in this?
Some shots for Dirty Harry. He's in this. Yes, we'll get to that. And then he did a documentary. You know how they have those behind the scenes making of for films
Yes.
now. Well, he did one for one of his films called Beguiled or Bejeweled, or I think it's Beguiled, and that's kind of where you got the bug. Play Misty for me. Again, low budget style. He likes to focus on actors only. He does everything in 1 to 2 takes. He trusts his actors. So that's kind of where he went with this style. And very minimal cast in this one, which I always do like to see.
Yeah.
He filmed it in Carmel, where I had been there. Yeah, he lived in Carmel for years. He was the mayor there when I was there.
Right.
When I was visiting.
Okay.
He's a war aircraft survivor in shark-infested waters, and he was the mayor.
Right. Yeah.
So that's Clinton for you.
Yeah.
He's a fucking man. Clint Eastwood is the fucking man.
Even over Harrison Ford?
Different. They're different actors.
Okay.
Harrison Ford is an actor, movie star. Clint is movie star director.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
I
was just a bit concerned that you were doing the dirt on Harrison there, but yeah, but
no, Harrison is the actor's actor. He is the man, an actor. Clint does both, but I think Harrison Ford's a better actor.
Well, I think obviously Harrison Ford is a big movie star as well, and so was Clint. But I think maybe Harrison Ford would edge it as a more serious actor.
No, I think they're both serious.
They're both serious actors, but
I think Clint Eastwood keeps things simple.
Yeah,
he's not dialogue driven in a lot of his films. He's very. I mean, you look at the Man with No Name; he barely says anything.
Exactly.
Trilogy, and this one he does. And he does. I mean, $1 Million Baby and Gran Torino are the 2 films that showed what he can do, and Unforgiven, of course. But yeah, I just think that Harrison Ford has a little more depth in his performance when he's playing, like, regarding Henry, going to Witness, then playing the space cowboy Han Solo, then going from that to murdering the husband in What Lies Beneath. He's more branched out. He's more branched out than Clint was. I think he's grounded. I think Clint's more grounded and that's why Harrison Ford would be a better actor, because he's more willing to go outside the box more. There you go.
Although Clint has went outside the box as well, including with this, actually, at the time.
No, I don't think so, because he's always been a player.
Yeah, well,
so
yeah, well, I mean, in terms of,
I'll tell you what, this guy, Dave, the character he plays, is an unlikable creep, and he deserves everything he gets.
It was the 70s, man. It was all about being, a number one shagger. A bit like myself, I wish.
So, yeah, that's what it is. But the problem with this film is that I can relate to it.
Right.
Because of all my ladies and all the phone calls. I'm like, hey, I'm not a one-trick pony man, this Bronco's got a buck. You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of terrified me, because I can certainly relate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Evelyns in my life.
Yeah. I would love an Evelyn in my life, Just mean I'd be getting a bit for a change, but it's a sacrifice I'm prepared to pay.
Yeah, you fuck that. You're the Evelyn.
Yeah, right. But Clint, he's just a ladies' man here. It was the 70s.
But we got $725,000 budget, made $11 million. Not bad for a first outing. It has been copy and pasted since this film ever came out. The erotic thriller has been around before. It was just kind of coming to full. It was kind of finding its niche in the late '60s. I think we had a couple of erotic thrillers. I think I think Frenzy might be a good example.
Yeah, Hitchcock.
And then Hitchcock, yeah, and then you had this one. But this is the one that kind of catapulted it. It's kind of like when we talk about Halloween. It was coined this first slasher film, but there was films before that,
As
Peeping
far as
Tom and Black.
yeah. Oh, yeah, Peeping Tom as well. But as far as in war, this was, looking at the original trailer, this was very much promoted as horror and a slasher.
Yeah, but I think but we can say about Halloween. Halloween wasn't coined that until after it found its footing, and a couple of years passed, and it was coined something. This one, they probably coined it like a horror thriller, but it became the erotic thriller.
Yeah,
that always happens. I mean, they didn't have slasher in mind when they filmed Halloween. They certainly didn't have erotic thriller when they did this one, because I don't think those subgenres were created yet.
Well, they weren't properly established as such, but obviously then the erotic thriller, it came back in a sort of big way in the late 80s and the early 90s with the likes of, Basic Instinct and stuff, and films of that ilk.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Fatal Attraction after this.
Fatal Attraction,
and Fatal Attraction, actually, there's scenes in this movie that Fatal Attraction literally takes from.
Yeah,
with the use of Madame Butterfly and the suicide attempt.
Yeah,
but let's jump into it, and we'll talk. Very influential. Play Misty for Me. We got very little cutie, Donna Mills. Still looks hot today. She plays Toby. Jessica Walter, Evelyn, who was a wonderful actress, just recently passed. Very funny actress. She always played berserk really well, but funny.
She's funny here.
And she does it well here, but she can play it creepy as well with some really nice shots with her. That
I think she steals the show here.
She does steal the show. You got Clint as Dave. You got Sergeant McCallum, played by John Larch, who's a good friend of our boy Clint. He played Dirty Harry's boss. So that's where you got him from. And then you got Birdie, the kind of the comic relief, the housekeeper. I like to see her. You got Frank, who is the doctor, who's kind of pointless. You got his boy Al, fellow DJ. And then you got Madge. She's the producer lady, who he kind of loses that job real quick. And we got a nice cameo by Murphy. Murphy's played by, the bartender here is played by Don Siegel. Don Siegel directed Clint Eastwood in quite a few films. Directed him in Dirty Harry, Beguiled, Kogan's Bluff, Escape from Alcatraz, and Two Mules for Sister Sarah. Great film if anyone hasn't seen that one. So he says it's Sergio Leone and Don Siegel are the reason why he makes films today.
Yeah, his mentors, basically.
Those are his mentors. So it's nice to see him always playing nod to Don Siegel, letting him in the film. So it's kind of cool. Like a passing of the torch.
In a way, yes.
So we're in the Carmel area, the Pacific Coast Highway. Absolutely gorgeous. He even starts off with a beautiful shot of the Pacific Coast Highway. I just want to know how a fucking DJ can have a property like that.
Well, I would say, there are some big name DJs, but as a former radio presenter and DJ myself,
oh my God, from Belfast. Yeah, okay.
No, even better than Belfast, Newton Ards.
Wow, it's a one city DJ.
It's not even a city, it's a town that's not unlike Innsmouth from H.P. Lovecraft's fiction. But I was sort of thinking that because, when I did it, I was basically volunteering, didn't get paid, But obviously there's big name DJs in Radio 1 and stuff. I'm talking about the UK. So, Clint's one of them here. He's a jazz DJ. And you have to remember as well, radio would have been a lot bigger back in the 60s and 70s than it is now, where podcasts has taken over on YouTube.
In Carmel, it's a very small town. It's a very posh town. And it's between San Francisco and LA. And it just seems to be a limited market. So maybe he had money. We don't, it's irrelevant, really. It's no big deal. It's Clint, man. He can get anything he wants. He just have to explain himself.
He gets the ladies and he gets the cash because he's playing funky jazz music
for
the listeners.
Fucking loves jazz.
Yeah.
Every film
It's
there
apparent
is
here.
jazz. His son plays jazz. It's in every movie ends with jazz music. But it's definitely apparent here, and there's some of the flaws. It's some of his flaws in this film, and it's gonna be fun because I'm not tearing this film apart, but there are flaws in it. I really enjoy playing Misty for Me. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's quick, fast. It's over. Wow. But there's some scenes that are just like, okay, come on,
The
Clint.
jazz festival, for example,
That
there was no need for that.
the 10-minute homage to jazz.
Yeah.
But we'll dive into it a little further. But I do like the intro. It's pretty quick. We meet him. He's a DJ. He's talking to his fellow DJ, Al, Monty, they call him. And then he goes to the bar. And this is where we meet Murphy, his bartender. And there's a girl. We meet Evelyn. She's in this corner of the bar. And they have this fake game that they play. And what it does is the fake game doesn't make any sense because it's fake. But the person watching, an onlooker, doesn't know it's fake. So it brings their interest. And then Evelyn moves over and says, "Oh, hi, what are you guys playing?" And then that was the whole point to lure. But they come clean and they tell her that. But
she's also lying.
But she's also lying. She comes clean with that. But the whole point is, it's kind of like a chess match, ironically enough, between these two.
Yeah.
And one, he's just a player, and she's a player with ulterior motive. She's already been stalking him. She makes that clear to him.
She's playing a chess game herself with David Clint.
But how they play on that is his ego and her psychotic ways is going to,
Well, it's not even his ego. I think it's more his dick, to be honest.
But fuck off. He's an egomaniac. This guy's a dick.
Yeah, but he's thinking with his dick as well. Let's be honest here. But yeah, she's basically saying that she's been stood up for a date, which is lies. She's basically stalking him from the off.
Well, she gets him back to his place, her place, and she even tells him, "Listen, I'm Evelyn. Play Misty for me," because he recognizes her voice. That's the one he can't remember. He's like, "You sound familiar." Then she comes clean, and he's like, "Oh my god!" Right there, he's showing, "This is kind of creepy," but no, he fucks her.
I'll shag you anyway.
Yeah, and the next day, she shows up for dinner at his place. He's like, "What the fuck?"
We're busting laughing at that scene where she appears because she's total melt. I mean, she appears. He's trying to get his work done, and she just appears with all these chops and stuff, and she's done the shopping. He's like, what?
I mean, you kind of get, she just had yum time with Clint, and so she's gonna try to woo him. So I'm going with it right now. You kind of still feel sorry for her. She's batshit crazy. It's going to happen, but you kind of, and even he's still a fucking dick. So when she shows up at the house and you go, "Oh, I got your steak. How do you like your steak?" And he goes, "Listen, woman, I didn't say you come here." And then she's like, "Oh, I just want to surprise you." He goes, "Listen, let's do it this way. When I call you, I'll call you. If the telephone rings, then I want to talk to you." He's such an arrogant.
Yes, he is arrogant the way he's doing it, but he's right as well. I mean, if somebody just barges into your house and sort of takes over like that,
I know, but
even if they are sexy,
he does. What? Come on, it's Clint, man. It's just Clint.
I'm talking about her. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then and then he fucks her. I mean, he seems to really first she admits to stalking him. Then she shows up at his place unannounced, fucks her again. So he's digging himself deeper in a hole here.
It's all his own fault. What happens?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's his ego.
Yeah. But also, he's looking his head away as well, let's be honest, and she's prepared to deliver the goods. And I'm not just talking about the meat here. Sorry, he's delivering meat to her.
Oh, my God. Yeah, get that scene. "How do you like your steak?" "I like it really raw."
Yeah.
"So do I." I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And fuck, so what?
It was the 70s. That's the way people talked and flirted.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah. Yeah.
Clinton is making big sausage.
What the fuck? You're an idiot. So you can't. So he's even a dick to Toby. He sees Toby, and he didn't realize he was back. This is his ex. He cheated on her.
Yes.
And they're walking the beach, and this is where we'll start with some of the issues I have with the filmmaking, and I think it's a time thing. We just wanted to leg off some of the time. for the film, the running time. But he's talking to her on the beach. And even in the beach, she goes, I don't know if I can trust you. He goes, well, maybe if you didn't have such good looking roommates, there wouldn't be a problem. He's even blaming her, and he was being serious. This is what I'm saying. This is deliberate. He's doing this deliberately to let the audience know.
I know it's setting up the finale, but what's the deal with her having just this constant string of like different roommates? I don't know. Maybe it was the way young people sort of get on it was the 70s. What can I say? But yeah, it's obviously setting up the finale as well, the roommates thing.
Yeah, but when he's first talking to her, they're on this beach, and they have this long fucking beach, and you can tell what they've done is they film them just walking, right? They're walking on the beach, they're walking in the forest, they're walking in the parking lot, they're walking in the town, but it's the same conversation the whole time. So it's bad, it's poorly edited. So what he does, they obviously they recorded what their dialogue
the audio
in post, and then they talked as they was watching the scenes. But the problem is, by doing that, they're walking the beach, right? And then cut to, they're in the forest, but yet the conversation's still flowing.
I know.
So wait a minute. So you quantum leaped? What? So but it's a charm to that, because it's his first film and it's a teething, and you're going to have mistakes like that. So it doesn't bother me, but I like to point them out because it goes to show you how far Clint Eastwood has progressed.
Yeah, and there's a couple of instances of that as well. I think that sort of Jordan. I think there's at least a couple, but yeah, where it's like 1 minute they're like at one end of the beach and they're talking about something, and then the direct continuation of the conversation is cut and they're at a different part of the beach, and it's like, what?
Yeah. But so then Evelyn's, third time's a charm here. He's at the bar. She's calling him at the bar, and she's outside the bar. She sees his car, so she knows he's there. And Murphy's like, no, he's not here. And so he goes down to drive away, and there she is, and she grabs his keys. She's fucking nuts, and she's lost the plot. Now you're starting to understand. Now Clint's like, okay.
Well, there's another segment here where during this scene where they're arguing, he's trying to get the keys back off her, and a couple of guys say, hey lady, you okay? And she turns around and goes full psycho mode on them. It's like, fuck off. But she doesn't say that, but it's similar to that,
Yeah, because the guys were actually going to help her.
Yes.
Because he was getting aggressive with her, and then she turns on him, and then he goes, forget it. He has enough to deal with.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they become, they're fans of him, because then they realize what he's going through with this one.
Yeah. Good luck with her. They're like saying the type thing. You'll need it.
Monty, his fellow DJ, has the perfect line that sums up this entire film. So as they're talking, they have these brief encounters when they're switching shifts.
Yes.
At the DJ booth. He even tells them, Dave tells him that, listen, Monty, I have this girl. She's blah, blah, blah. She's coming to my house, blah, blah, blah. And he even says, point blank, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword.
And he's not talking about a literal sword here. He's talking about his other sword.
Okay. I know, but the line has meaning.
No, it's true.
You keep thinking of Clint's dick, but that's cool.
That's what it's a reference to, that line. But yes.
The whole sword. Now, it's not referring to his dick. It's referring to, you fuck with this. You've been fucking with these women your whole life. Now it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. That's what he means.
Yeah. Well, it's both.
The sword doesn't mean his dick.
It's both. The line is clever because it works, and I'm not just trying to be like fucking childish or whatever.
You are. Our listening audience right now is going, my God, that Kieran's so reserved, but that fucking Trevor, what a perv.
I'm just saying it works on more than one level. It's a clever line.
But yeah, it's the line that pretty much sums up who he is.
Yeah, and what's going on, and the plot of the film.
So she calls him at the DJ booth. Are you coming over for dinner? He's like, we didn't make any plans, woman. Why are you calling me? We made no plans. And then he's like, well, listen, I'm going to come over after, and we need to talk. And then she goes, would you play Misty for me? And so he plays Misty for Me a couple times. This is before Evelyn was revealed as Evelyn, right?
Yes.
And this is the first time he goes, I'm going to play Misty for Me for Evelyn, blah, blah, blah. And he puts the record on. It's Misty. It's called Misty, by the way. It's not Play Misty for Me. It's just Misty.
Yes.
But it's a famous song, jazz song. And he plays it. But it's when he plays it, the look in his eyes, he looks really concerned.
And also, as well,
and he finally knows I have a problem here.
Yeah, and also as well, whenever he does meet her, he's meant to be, because he's had like a bit of a crisis of conscience, and he wants to like sort of clean up his act and get back with Toby, like properly in a relationship, and he's supposed to be meeting her for a date whenever Evelyn comes over, and Evelyn sort of knows this because she's being creepy McCreeperson and stalking.
Yeah, because at first he goes over there, he tells her to fuck off, we're done. And then he leaves and she goes off on him. You're not even good in bed, you bastard. And Clint's like, whoa, wait, what'd you just say to me?
Yeah.
Whoa, I'm Clint. I'm Clint. You don't say that to me. But
I'm DJ Shagger. How dare you? But then she calls over to his house later on.
Yeah. This is where, so there's another good shot where he gets home after he finally touched it off with her, and he's sitting on his bed and the phone's ringing, and he picks up, it's her, and he goes, "Well, see you tomorrow?" And he's like, "Oh, fuck me," and he hangs up the phone. She calls back, then he takes the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
And again, he lies back in the bed, and he just stares at the camera or stares into nowhere. And again, that same look when he put the Misty on the player for her earlier, it's now even more look of concern. This is the way he's playing. I think this is the Clint's way of showing that any time you have that look of concern, it's a pot boiler. Every time he has that look, it's going to get more aggressive and more aggressive.
Yes.
And so he has that look when he plays Misty.
Yes.
He goes over there, it escalates. She calls, hangs up. He takes the phone off hook. He has a voice of concern. Things escalate. Because there's a nice shot. We talked about how Jessica Walter can play manic really funny, but she can also play really creepy. And it's a simple shot. It's when Toby and him are lying in the trees or something, and they're kissing.
I want to mention this, yeah.
And he's telling her pretty much who this woman is. He says, "I want to come clean with you and tell you about this," because of his his history with her. And all it is a shot of Evelyn.
Yeah.
It zooms in and she's in the trees watching them. She doesn't do anything. She just watches them. And that's a fucking creepy little shot.
It's a horror shot.
But she sells it.
Yeah. Oh, no. She's great here out of them all. But yeah, it's so yes. He also has a date arranged with Toby actually the next day. But whenever she calls over Evelyn, that is, in the middle of the night, this is when we'll have the suicide attempt.
Yeah, this is where Fatal Attraction borrows from this. He cuts her wrists. And this is where he called his friend, his doctor friend, Frank.
Yes.
And they do fix, I had a lot of questions like, well, you just cut your wrists. She should be in the hospital. But this guy does say they're the superficial wounds, which right there means she knew what she was doing. She wasn't going to do something. Yeah, she wasn't going to do something too drastic. She just wanted to scare him.
Yeah.
And so that's why and that's why he says, no, she'll be all right. They're superficial wounds. And he was actually going to call Toby to tell her that I can't make it, but he can't because she walks into the room, Evelyn, and goes, "Oh, you disappeared on me." And then he hangs up the phone before he can tell Toby they can't make it. And he lies with her. Again, look of concern. She falls asleep in his arms and he's just looking at us, or again, into nowhere, thinking, fuck, what do I do here?
I get that all the time with the ladies, not another one, that look, But yeah.
Yeah. They call them conjugal visits.
What's that?
When they call them conjugal visits. That's a good one.
Yeah, well, yeah, not bad. I'll give you that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Even in the morning, I still got it.
Right. Not bad.
Yeah.
So your coffee, Andy, are you?
I got my coffee. It's all right. Now, after the scene when she cuts her wrists, This is where our boy's art changes a bit. He starts feeling guilty what he's done. He starts feeling now she's not an annoying nuisance. She's not an annoying nuisance. She's not psychotic. I've caused this. Now I've got to take accountability. So he feels remorse. It's the reason why he hung up the phone when he was about to talk to Toby. His focus has to be on Evelyn and to get her the help that she needs. So it's a nice transition from what we did get, this ego-driven prick, to this guy who's been humbled, I guess you can say, by this.
Definitely, and it's proper character writing, in terms of like it's layered. He's not just an out and out sort of dick. You know what I mean? He's a proper rounded human character, well written.
Well, that quickly changes when he goes to see Madge, his producer friend. He's like, oh, they're all doing okay. He's feeling a little remorse.
They got a job, yeah.
Yep. He goes, I got to go meet my producer friend. And she's an older woman, and they're talking. Conversation's going well. He's going to get the big gig in San Francisco. And, guess who shows up? And he pretty much has his enough. He grabs her, throws her into a cab. If I was the cabbie, I'll be like, fuck no. Throws her into a cab. He goes back down, and the producer lady's gone.
And the producer lady, like you were saying, is an older woman, a more mature lady. But yet Evelyn is still jealous and starts all these sort of nasty, bitchy comments about, about her age and, all this sort of thing to her face.
She's not in it much. The characters aren't in it much, but they're good. Sergeant McCallum, we talked about that. He's very good in this. And he's got that. He reminds me of J. Lee. Is it J. Lee Cobb or Lee J. Cobb?
Lee J. Cobb in The Exorcist.
Lieutenant. Yeah, he's got that Lieutenant Kinderman kind of feel to him, and he's got that voice.
And also the way he sort of banters with him, with Clint as well. Yeah. That's very much like Lee J. Cobb as Kinderman in The Exorcist, with Father Karras. There's
he's got,
sort of back and forward banter.
Yeah, they got those little jabs to each other.
Yeah.
And then you got Birdie. Small role, but she's the character kind of, her and Monty are kind of the character, the comedic, the little comedy into this dark drama, I guess you can say. And when she gets sliced up, I can watch horror films, right? I don't mind. So there's something about a razor blade. There's something about a razor blade.
That makes me wince.
It makes me wince. There's a movie called Dressed to Kill. Wonderful film.
Yep.
Brian De Palma.
De Palma.
Where Angie Dickinson gets bladed in the elevator. And they show it, but she gets hit pretty good here. And this is reason why it's really R is this scene, and I can't even watch it. But it's effective. And even when she survives, but she's being taken out to the hospital. Clint gets to her in time, and she's still making a joke. She even says,
"You'll have to charge extra." Yeah,
to get
your
this
apartment
place
after
clean.
it's been trashed. Yeah.
Exactly. So she still has that humor, and that even makes him even feel more worse because here's pretty much a friend and an employee, and now she's been hurt, and she still has that banter to let him know that I'm going to be okay.
Yes.
And it's great. These characters aren't in it that much, but they really do add.
Well, they're not just filler characters
to the film.
Yes, there actually is a point to them, and a reason for them being there. They do forward the plot. And, that's the way it should be, obviously.
Well, let's talk about forwarding the plot. It's perfect sentence to lead into the next 12 minutes.
Jazz Festival.
This is ridiculous. I love Clint. But Clint, you could have added filler. You could have had a scene more with Evelyn. I don't care if it's more scenes with going to dinner with Toby or the bar. I don't care. Something. But this whole 12 minutes... First, you get him and Toby just walking around for like 6 minutes, and they're playing Roberta Flack's "The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face." Very popular song, very popular jazz song.
Yeah.
And
I would just say,
hold on a second, and then they're naked in the middle of the forest. It's so cheesy.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
And then I was waiting for the fairies and the lilies to blossom.
I was going to say that.
So, and then you cut to 6 minutes. And this is a real jazz festival, so he obviously did it to promote his hometown, the town he lives in, Monterey Jazz Festival. Monterey is only a few moments away from Carmel, so he wanted to promote that. I get that; it's his love, but dude, you kind of take us out a bit. When you do this.
It totally does. You know what it feels like? It feels like obviously this is a fictional drama sort of thriller. And all of a sudden, a documentary about jazz music has been thrust into the middle of it for 10 minutes. It's almost like an interval, and it's weird, and it's pointless.
You know what I thought it was? I thought like I was sitting there and I was like, well, I might go get myself a cup of coffee. I felt like if I saw this in the theater, I'll be like, is this an intermission?
That's what it feels like. Yeah, and
Can I
during
get
this,
up and go get something?
yeah, and during this intermission, we're getting shown 10 minutes of a jazz documentary, a jazz festival documentary. It's just it actually kills attention.
It does, but he's smart enough, and this is where we know Clint shines, to bring people back in right away. Because after he has this nice, I think what he was trying to do, yes, I think he's more promoting jazz.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think what he was trying to do was give us a sense of calm.
Yeah, well, the calm before the storm type thing.
Yeah, exactly. That was his way of doing it. Not the way I would have done it, but I get it. And he gives us this wonderful shot where Evelyn calls, "Oh, I'm good to go now. I'm going to go to Hawaii." And he's like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Okay, that doesn't make any sense why they let her out." But we do find out what it does happen. But it gives us the best jump scare in the film. It is the movie poster. And it is really effective. You think everything's calm and relaxed. We had a little jazz.
Yep.
And he's in bed sleeping, and then he opens his eyes, and there she is with the butcher knife, and she slams it in the pillow. He moves out of the way just in time. He's knocked his head, so he's a little fuzzy, and she's disappeared.
Although yeah, I think there's another quite good, although I've sort of seen it coming, where Toby is talking about her new roommate, and then obviously it's later revealed to be Evelyn under a false name. But yes, Evelyn has been, for some reason, after the attack on the housekeeper, she basically was sectioned, but then was let out like 10 minutes later for some reason.
Well, no, we find out. Keep in mind, he's smart. Yeah, I like my timelines. You know that. So this film, you would feel it's all over the place, right? But it's not. Monty makes the comment. Don't forget, we got tickets for the Monterey Jazz Festival. He says that's in 4 months.
Yeah, so there is a time jump.
So there's a big time jump here. So we're okay. So we know there is some time for, now this is out, we don't see it, but we can understand Toby needs a new roommate. She tells him just one line. "Oh, I got a new roommate, Annabelle." That was actually, and the great thing about that line is that they planted that seed earlier. When Clint goes, "You always have so many roommates. They're all good looking." So we know she has this thing of getting new roommates. It's an ongoing joke.
But even at
when she says, I have a new roommate, Annabelle," you don't really think about, well, that's Evelyn, because she's gone through this before. It's a good twist. And how they plant that seed. So they planted earlier, so it's not just a cheat.
Yeah. Although, even if it is 4 months later, Evelyn has just committed a brutal attempted murder. So they wouldn't. I don't think they would have let her out.
I kind of agree with you there, but the sergeant does tell him why.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible, but
it's a quick fix.
He does address it. He goes, "Wait a minute. So I've been attacked by this nut job. She attacks my Birdie, my housekeeper, and she's been released. She's going to Hawaii? No, she's not going to Hawaii. She's been released on parole, and she's waiting legal action."
Yeah.
That's what's happened.
Well,
she was never, "Oh, you're free to go." I was like, what the fuck?
It would have been.
It does give us a better explanation of why she was let go.
A bit better, maybe. It could have been a bit corny as well, but maybe if they had her escaped instead of, actually, being released. But that would have been a bit sort of corny and a bit sort of.
Then you got the sergeant going, "She's out. You better hurry." I kind of like. I'm okay with the way it went. It's cheesy.
It's not a big thing.
Let me out here. So he's going to meet Colby later.
Yes,
and he asks the Sergeant McCullum to go check on Toby.
Yes,
and she's at Clint's house with Annabelle. Well, we think it's Annabelle, and then the audience finds out that Annabelle is actually Evelyn, but obviously Toby doesn't know that's Evelyn.
Yeah.
And the sergeant kept telling him, when she told you she was going to Hawaii, she quoted something. Do you remember this poem? Do you remember what this
Edgar
was?
Allan Poe.
And Clint goes, I know it, but I can't remember it. And then as Sergeant McKilliam is going to check on Toby, he remembers what it was, and he goes to look at I don't know why the DJ has a book of poems by Poe.
It's convenient.
But he grabs the book, and there's a quote. Don't know what the poem is. You might be able to shed some light, but the name Annabelle Lee is mentioned in it.
Yes.
And that's where she got the name Annabelle.
Yes. So, yeah, it is very convenient. So it is. You know what? I would have to double check the name of the poem, to be completely honest. But yes, it's an Edgar Allan Poe poem, and it is quite convenient. But that's where Clint realizes, and then obviously alarm bells. But it's too late because Evelyn has basically gagged and tied up Toby. But it's only for bait because she knows Clint will come out. But the cop also
The poem is called Annabelle Lee.
Yes. There you go.
There you go. It explores the theme of death of a beautiful woman.
Perfect. Yeah.
There you go.
Ties in.
Can never diss my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee, for the moon never beams without. There you go, people. You've learned something today.
Beautiful rendering. You know what can I say?
I'm gonna do audiobooks.
You should do slam poetry festivals, not jazz festivals, but slam poetry.
You see me doing audiobooks like Dr. Seuss, be swearing all the time.
No.
Green eggs and fucking ham. Sam I am.
Podcast. So you do, you know.
Oh, there you go. That'd be good.
Yeah. I once had an idea for a podcast.
That's it.
I wasn't sure it would last.
Wow.
But now it's considered class. It's a bit of half rhyme there, you know. Flip, I should be a poet. And if you don't like it, I haven't finished it. And if you don't like it, stick it up your ass.
Wow. Such an idiot.
I'm a poet and I don't know it.
But what they try to do, they try to build this tension as the sergeant's going to the house and he's going for the book, and then we cut to the sergeant. But there is a nice shot where there's this picture of Clint that Toby did, this print, the painting, yes. And Evelyn starts losing it a bit, and there's little clues where she goes, she tells Toby, you sure this is a likeness? She goes, I think it's pretty good. Well, you got the eyes wrong. Oh, I didn't think you knew. You knew Dave. Well, she said something about
actually, you do.
the eyes are more evil or something like that. The eyes have to be more evil. And she goes, what? What do you mean? And then she puts her hand up, and then we have a zoom in a shot of Donna Mill's eyes, Toby's eyes, and she can see the scars.
Yes.
Of cutting herself.
She cut herself. Yeah.
And then she quickly puts the pieces together, and then she grabs the knife. And she says, gotcha. And then we cut to, it sucks. She kills the sergeant. That's too
right.
bad.
Yeah.
But I do like when she kills the sergeant and she starts cutting the hair of Toby. Yes. And then we cut away from that. I didn't understand why she was doing that, but it's pretty much to bait our boy, because when he figures out who Annabelle Lee is, he, quickly leaves. And there's a nice little, before he leaves, as DJs do, if they have to leave, they'll put in an old tape, an old recording of an older show.
Yep.
To run, and so he can leave the booth, and people think that it's
he's still
whatever.
On the air.
Older.
Yeah.
He's still on the air. So he goes to the house. That tape's still playing because they're playing his show right now in the house. So it's a nice little juxtapose, I guess you could say. So he gets to the it's trick. He gets to the house. And you can hear, his jazz program in the background. The house is all dark. And he goes into his bedroom, and we think Evelyn is lying in the bed, but it's not. The reason she cut her hair and dyed it and crap is because he thinks that's Evelyn in the bed, not Toby.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he approaches her, she comes up from behind him, and he gets stabbed pretty good by the scissors and shit. And they put up a pretty good fight. And they just one when he finally gets a clean hit, just punches her. She flies through the glass and falls off the deck,
off the cliff,
into off the cliff.
Bye, psycho woman. Yep.
Yeah, she's gone. But what's nice about it it ends right there. But what's good about it, guess what it ends with? It ends, the tape he put in at the DJ booth is the one, and it
Play
ends
Misty
with,
for me.
yes,
Misty?
he goes,
Yeah.
this is for Evelyn, play Misty for me. It's the first call to
There's
him.
a dark
before it's
irony about it.
all, yeah.
A
it
tragic
ends-
irony. Yeah.
It ends, yeah, with that, the first time he kind of technically met her. And that's how they cut it off. It's
Yep.
nice end.
No,
And
it's
got its
poetic.
flaws. It's got its flaws as a first time director, but they're so minor, and you can see clearly the influence this film has on other films like it.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I would certainly give it a pass. There are flaws. For example, the 10-minute advertisement for jazz festivals, but yeah, it's yeah. I would certainly give it a pass, and I did enjoy it. And yeah, it's basically stolen. The show was stolen by Evelyn.
Jessica Walters. She had a massive career, and good on her. She'll definitely be missed because she was in everything. She was always nice to see.
She is, like we were discussing earlier, she is, she can switch from the comedic to the tragic. You're feeling sorry for her, but also the psychotic where you're afraid of her. She is very, very good.
Yeah, and we'll dig deeper into that because Glenn Close clearly borrowed from her performance when she did the Oscar-nominated Fatal Attraction. So we'll dig deeper into that one next. All right, guys, that's a wrap on this one. Thanks for listening. Give us a shout at citizenframe_podcast on Instagram and, of course, Facebook, or give us an email at citizenframe@outlook.com. The new issue of Phantasmagoria is out now. Available Amazon worldwide and locally in other shops locally. I think Forbidden Planet.
Yes.
Here. And some stores in the U.S.
Yeah, and the Phantasmagoria website.
Oh, yes, there's a website.
Yep. Mm-hmm. No porn on it, but sadly. Oh, dear.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the editor-in-chief of Phantasmagoria right there. That fucker is an award-nominated editor-in-chief of Phantasmagoria right there, people, and I get nothing.
You don't want me to put porn on the website to attract people, but I was having none of it. No, we're not that type of publication. We're classy.
Hey, just saying, hung 'em high might have been a big cash grab for you.
Squirt 'em cowboy.
Squirt 'em cowboy.
Classic.
All right, that's a wrap. Up next, Fatal Attraction. Then we're doing the new release, The Mummy.
Yep.
2026, Lee Cronin's follow-up to Evil Dead Rise. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going to see it this weekend. And that's all we got. Take care of yourselves. We'll chat soon.